U.S. is reportedly ramping up the pressure on Venezuela as it looks towards a post-Maduro future, with a new phase of the operations eyeing options to overthrow him. The Trump administration reportedly considering dropping leaflets to pressure the dictator on his birthday, which is today, and to get him to flee the country on his own. Alex Gray served as chief of staff to the National Security Council during President Trump's first term, and he joins us now. Alex, welcome. So we know there's a new phase. We also heard yesterday they said everything is on the table, or no options are off the table. So what do you think is going to happen next? How will this unfold?
Well, thanks for having me, Rachel. I think the president is doing everything he can through his mantra of peace through strength to use American military power and covert means to compel Maduro to make the right choice, which is to leave Venezuela, to give the Venezuelan people an opportunity to have a new future. Remember, 25 years of the Chavez-Maduro dictatorship, and the Venezuelan people have gone from being the wealthiest in the hemisphere to the poorest because of the Marxist-Leninist ideology of that regime. And also, Rachel, this is incredibly important, they are directly killing Americans every single day because the Venezuelan regime and the narco-traffickers are essentially one and the same. And unlike the presidents of both parties since the end of the Cold War, President Trump is actually focused on what's happening in our hemisphere that's affecting our homeland. Instead of pushing these democracy promotion wars in the Middle East, he is focused on our hemisphere, which is so long overdue.
You know, that's a very interesting point. I think historically speaking, we've never seen anything like this, I think. And I think since the end of the Cold War, nobody is focused on Latin America. It's been under a lot of neglect. And yet, as you say, it affects us deeply. The president talks a lot about the drugs coming in. I think he's right. The cartels, which, as you know, are definitely a menace, not just in the hemisphere. They end up affecting America as well. But how much of this also has to do, honestly speaking, with China?
Rachel, I think you cannot understate how significant this is in terms of our larger competition with China. In the absence of America, again, as presidents of both parties were focused on these endless wars overseas, China and Russia were expanding their foothold in our hemisphere. And Venezuela was a major point for Russian and Chinese infiltration of the hemisphere. And President Trump, I think, is looking at this and saying, we cannot allow our greatest geopolitical rival in Beijing to have a presence in our neighborhood the way China has for the last 20 years. This is a major, major effort. And while we've allowed the Venezuelan regime to contribute throwing tons of drugs into the United States, we've also allowed China to gain a foothold in the energy reserves in Venezuela, which is obviously totally against our interests. So the president is taking, I think, a really strategic focus here.
Yeah, we've been on the couch talking about how does he exit? You know, what does that look like? I'm also looking at what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. Russia also an ally of Maduro and his dictatorship. Wondering, in my mind, how much of that negotiation will secretly involve helping to find a place for Maduro to go to. Would you tell us what you think that looks like? Where does he go? I know he must be worried about the cartel's killing him. Absolutely, he's the head of this operation. So what does it look like for him? How does he leave without getting killed by the cartels? And who would take him?
Well, something tells me he's probably going to end up in Havana with his benefactors in the Cuban regime. And it also wouldn't surprise me if somehow he ended up sharing an apartment with Bashar Assad from Syria in Moscow. And look, these dictators, they have a club. They look out for each other. I think the most important thing right now is to find an exit path where we can get Maduro out of Caracas and we can get the Chinese, as you said, Rachel, we can get them out of Caracas and we can focus on getting Americans safe from the importation of dangerous drugs that Venezuela is so actively helping to promote.
Yeah. As our Secretary of War said in Panama very early in the administration, America first also means the Americas first. So this is a pivot away from the Middle East and to the Western Hemisphere. And I think you're right. That's in the interest of the United States. Alex Gray, very great discussion. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you back.
Thanks, Rachel.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.